like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul, in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. Well, I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul, in my soul. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean. I've got love like an ocean in my soul. And here's the kicker for our theme this year. And I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul, in my soul. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. Okay, all three. Well, I've got peace like a river, and I've got love like an ocean, and I've got joy like a fountain in my soul, in my soul. I've got peace like a river, and I've got love like an ocean, and I've got joy like a fountain in my soul.
God wants to bring war to an end. And this week we have Remembrance Day, and Remembrance Day asks us to remember people who have made great sacrifices in war. And it asks us to hold in our reflection and in our prayer places where war is happening even in the world today. And so it's kind of a pretty vast, it's a really big thing to think about. But I think it's important for us to offer this to God in prayer. And one of the things that we wanted to do this week to honor Remembrance Day is we wanted to hear the stories of someone in close to our community who has some very, very important stories to share about World War II. So I want to invite Steve just now. I know Steve and Rex Arnett. Rex was planning to be with us this morning to speak with us, and at the last minute he was unable to make it. But I want to invite Steve. You prepared some photos and some stories, so we're grateful to you, Steve, for offering a bit of the sharing that you might have done together with Rex this morning.
Great. Yep. Thanks for Thanks for having me. And yeah, Rex was supposed to join me today. Here's his coffee. That was one way I thought of getting him here to the meeting hall, but he's wasn't able to make it at the last minute. But I'm happy to share a little bit of Rex's photos and a little bit of Rex's story. But he's also told his story in his own words with a video. So maybe we could start with Rex's video, and I'll just tell you where this video comes from. Uh, Rex lives at Brookside Retirement Home in Richmond Hill. It's not far from Daybreak. It's just on Elgin Mills Road near Leslie. And one of the staff at Brookside, her son is a high school teacher. And when Rex told her some of his stories and when she learned about Rex's life, she told her son, who is a history teacher, at the high school just on Major Mackenzie and Bayview. I forget the name of it right now, but so he teaches right here in Richmond Hill, and he wanted to come and feature Rex on their Remembrance Day in school. So he filmed this video with his students. They met Rex, and Rex told his story. And the really neat thing is that he invited Rex to the school assemblies where all the students gathered together in the gymnasium, and they watched the video on a big screen. And Rex was really a hero that day. He was called up to the stage. He got these 2 standing ovations both times they showed the video. And Rex made sure that Mike and myself were able to come and watch and be part of that day. So it was a really special day for Rex, and he's really excited that it's on YouTube, and he's kind of a YouTube star. So that's where the video is now, but why don't we play that video and we'll listen to Rex's words first.
But we did lose a lot of aircraft, and the night of February the 18th, we were flying. We did a trip into the Dortmund-Ems Canal area. And I was coughing. I had a bit of bronchitis, and when I landed, I was spitting up blood. So I thought, well, we looked on the battle order. We're on that for the following night, on the 20th. So I talked over with the crew. They said, geez, you better go and check with the doctor and see what he has to say. So anyway, to make a long story short, they grounded me. And that night, another young fellow took my place, and I think the target area was around Essen or some area. But anyway, they were shot down, and the fellow that took my place was killed. I wanted to be an air crew, and I didn't really care everybody wanted to be a pilot or a navigator or a wireless operator or an air gunner. That was a basic crew. And there was a flight engineer as well. So the crew was made up of that. I served, operational serving was in England. We had a squadron, it was 223 Squadron. I had previously trained in Nassau in the Bahamas. They were training us for Coastal Command, but 100 Group apparently needed a more sophisticated electronic devices, and they'd formed what they called 100 Group, which was a highly secretive group as far as the equipment was concerned, the jamming equipment. And anyway, I arrived in England and was based in Norfolk, just inland from the Wash. Anyway, we'd check the battle order in the mess hall and find out if we were flying that night or not. And if we were, we'd check the time for briefing. We'd go up to the briefing. The pilots would go to their section, the navigators and the wireless operators to get all the different codes, and the gunners would go to their section. After the briefing, we'd go for what they called a pre-flight meal. It was often referred to as the Last Supper because, you know, it was for a lot of guys. And from there, we'd go out to the aircraft, and I'd have a smoke, and we'd head for whatever the target area was. And what we'd do, there was special operators in our aircraft. We were flying Liberators, B-24s, and the special operators operated this jamming equipment, which would jam the Germans' radar. So we'd take off with the main bomber stream, or pick up the main bomber stream. Then we'd cut away from them and start dropping what they called a window. It was a little tinsel paper, but it would make a blip on the Germans' radar like an aircraft. So they would theoretically send their night fighters up to intercept us. And theoretically, again, the main force would get in relatively free of German night fighters. It didn't always work, but it worked a good many times, and the Germans found it pretty frustrating to. In a Liberator, it was hard to get off the flight deck. You had to go through the bomb bay and bail out through there. And if the hydraulics were shot away, you'd have to crank them open. Of course, by that time, you'd probably be hitting the deck, you know. And so there was 6 were killed, the 2 pilots, the flight engineer, the wireless operator, and the mid-upper gunner. And the fellows at the back, the 4 special operators got out, and the 2 beam gunners. There was one gunner there, he had a tendency to leave his parachute on the floor and not do his harness up. So anyway, he was last seen looking for his harness, and he couldn't bail out, so he was killed. They were crashed near a little village of Dornheim, I think it was called, and the farmer described the scene. The fuselage, or the main fuselage, crashed onto a hill, and the 5 bodies were there, and they assumed they died instantly from the crash. So I was really lucky. I should be buried over there, and I have pictures of the fellows' gravestones. Some people have gone over to Europe, and there's a group researched different crash sites, and so they got some letters from the farmers who witnessed the crash, and they described, you know, what they found.
It's been 70 years since World War II ended, almost, and I'm just wondering, what is your message to all the students here today?
Well, my message would be that wars really don't seem to accomplish anything, you know, and they're so costly in lives and what have you. Some people make a lot of money out of it, you know, the armament groups and that, but and a lot of it's politically motivated. I think the First World War. Second World War, there was justification to fight the Germans because of their attitude of trying to eliminate a certain race of people. So try to avoid war and be nice to each other.
Okay, thank you.
So there's Rex in his own words, speaking about what's really important to him. And Clara, you can go through the photos. And he talked a lot about his crew and the people that died that night when he couldn't be in the airplane because he was sick. And he's very particular. He always tells me it was P.O. Thompson's crew, 223 Squadron RAF. And that's the way you say it. It's in that order. And those people were really important to Rex. And the fact that they lost their lives, and he was somehow lucky enough not to be with them that night. But he does tell me often that every day he thinks about them and he says a prayer for them. And this picture here is the crew when they were training in the Bahamas. So Rex, when he had his initial Air Force training in the Bahamas, and this was some of the crew members that were there, and Rex is there somewhere. I can't see because my it's a little bit blurry for me, but if someone can notice Rex there, okay, there he is. Thank you, Clara. So there's Rex in the Bahamas with his training. And if you can go to the other crew picture, Clara. Yeah, so here's the crew in England when Rex was stationed in England. That's where they would fly from England over to Germany, and that's where they would do the things that he was talking about, dropping the little pieces of tinfoil out. And really what they were doing was trying to trick the German Air Force into thinking that this was a bombing, that they were being bombed. And so they would send their airplanes out and kind of look, Rex's crew had to get out of there quickly because they were kind of like a decoy, or kind of like they would want the Germans to think that they were a big bombing crew and they would come and chase them. And then the other, the real bombing raid would happen somewhere else. So it was kind of a dangerous operation every night. And Rex's position there was as a wireless operator. But just if you're holding on to this picture just for a second, Clara, the names of the people who pass away are always really important to Rex. And like I said, he thinks about them every day. He says a prayer of thanksgiving for them and for his life every day. And so I just want to say those names for you. They were John Thompson, John Kendall, Ron Wynn, Desmond Bryant, Ronald Wood, and Edwin Eric Whitaker. So I can't tell you who they are in that picture just because the names were on the back of the photo, and Rex isn't here with me with his photo, but Rex would know who they are, of course. But those are the people that Rex remembers every day, was in touch with them. Not all of them died in the air crash. Actually, some of them survived the crash, but then they were taken as prisoners of war. But some of them did die in the crash. So, and the person who took Rex's place as a wireless operator on that night was February 21st, 1945. The person who took Rex's place is a young guy like Rex. Rex was only, I think, 18 or 19 at this time, died in that crash. And Clara, if you could just get to the picture of Rex. I think there was just a lone picture of Rex there. Yeah, so here's Rex in his uniform. And so Rex was a wireless operator. And then just to give you some context of what that means, I think I have a little write-up on it. Yeah, so a wireless operator transmitted all messages to and from the aircraft to the base. And if the aircraft had to ditch into the sea or was crashing, the wireless operator would have to remain at his post to send out a distress signal, and that would improve the crew's chance of being located and rescued. So that was Rex's role on the crew. Yeah, all I can say is I think Rex said it, best for himself there, but just how much he really cared about the people that he was with there. And just in April of this year, something that's really neat is that Rex discovered there is a new museum and a memorial center set up in England in a town or city called Lincoln, and it's the International Bomber Command Center. And so Rex ordered this hat from baseball hat, which he likes to wear, and it's from the International Bomber Command Center in England. So he got one for Mike and for himself. And this is the memorial portion of it. There's this kind of what they call a spire, this very long triangular piece in the middle. And that actually is the kind of the length of the wings of one of the airplanes that were flown by the Bomber Command. And then around it, you can't quite see it in the picture, of course, close up, but there's all the names of the people who lost their lives in Bomber Command, which is the general kind of area that Rex was in with the Air Force. All their names are engraved here, including John Thompson, John Kendall, Ron Wynn, Desmond Bryant, Ronald Wood, and Edwin Whitaker. So their names together are on this memorial engraved. And what comforted Rex a lot was the idea that they didn't just list all these people alphabetically, but at the memorial, what they did was they listed them by crew. And he just thought it was so important for him that these 6 guys were, or the people who died in that crash were listed together under crew 223, so that even in the memorial, they were together as a crew. So that was really important to him. And Rex contacted the museum and sent them pictures. The 3 pictures that we saw, he sent them to the museum. And he's called them also, or contacted them that he wants to give interviews as well and give an oral history of what happened. And he's really thinking a lot about commemorating and honoring his crew members that were shot down that night. And this is a photo that Rex, a painting that Rex made. So Rex is an artist and he likes to paint pictures, and he was inspired by this museum and this memorial center so much so he painted this painting of it, and we sent a copy of this also to the museum. And it was really important to Rex as a way of, again, it was for him, it's about honoring and remembering his crew members that he served with in World War II. So I think that's all I have to say. I'm sorry Rex isn't here, but
well, thank you so much, Steve, for sharing some of those stories. And yeah, really grateful to you for being able to share some of those conversations, and also just for your faithful friendship with Rex and with Michael.
For me, there is a river for you. There is a river for everyone. Come to the dancing, dancing river. Dancing, dancing, dancing the river. There is a river for everyone. Come to the dancing, dancing river. You may have wanted love from everyone. You may have wanted love forever. You may have wanted love for everyone. Come to the dancing, dancing river. Dancing, dancing, dancing the river. There is a river for everyone. Come to the dancing, dancing river. Well, you may have wanted to be happy all the time. You may have wanted joy forever. You may have wanted to bring life to all the world. Come to the dancing dancing, dancing river. All right, everybody. Dancing, dancing, dancing the river. There is a river for everyone. Come to the dancing, dancing river. Well, come lay your burdens upon the sea. Come lay your burdens down forever. Come let your burdens flow down the stream. So come to the dancing, dancing river. All right, everyone. Dancing, dancing, dancing the river. There is a river for everyone. Come to the dancing, dancing river. Dancing, dancing, dancing the river. There is a river for everyone. Come to the dancing, dancing river. Oh, come to the dancing, dancing river. Come to the dancing, dancing river.